Two souls colliding. We shared the pieces of ourselves. It's perfect timing now.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today in this video I want to quickly share with you guys how to pad a bustier. So we're going to be using this pattern that I've already cut out here on my actual fabric, and I can see I've ironed my stay to the back. So I'm going to be padding this with a wadding. Some people call it padded, and I've also heard some people calling it breast tube. So whatever you call it in your area, just go ahead and get it, because that's what we're going to be using to pad the bustier area of this top. So let's go ahead and start cutting it out. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up my wadding, and you will notice that the wadding actually has two parts. There's one part that is shiny, and you see the other part that is dull. So you want to always make sure that the part that is shiny is the part that is going to face towards your fabric by the time you're done cutting it out. So these are my pieces that we're going to be using to cut on the wadding. So when I cut on my wadding, I always make sure that it ends where my underbust is, which is where the curves ended. So let me just show you guys what I mean. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn the shiny part of my wadding towards me, since my fabric is turned to the front. So I'm going to be placing my middle part of my bustier right on it like this. You can decide to place it right on where the curve ended here, or you can shift it all the way to the top. Some people take it all the way to the end like this and cut it out. It all depends on you, but for me, I like to bring it down here about half an inch away from where the curves ended. You can see what I have here. I'll just go ahead and arrange it like this. Make sure that the shiny part of the wadding is facing you. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is to just hold this down with my pins, just so it's not moving away from where I want it to be. Go ahead and do the same thing, and then we're going to go ahead and cut it out now. So guys, this is what I have after I was done cutting it out. You can see how it looks at the back, right? So I'm going to go ahead now and cut out the other side of this bustier, which is this part. So you notice that these two pieces are actually the same when you put them right sides facing each other. So you can just use any one of them to cut out the wadding for the both of them. So what I'm going to do is to just fold, since I'm going to be cutting out two at once, I'll just fold the wadding into two. So some people actually cut their wadding for this side from the curve down to the end on this side, but for me, I usually like to just cut a curve. So first thing I'm going to do now is to just cut out the area I would be needing to actually cut out these pieces, so that I will remove every other piece that is not needed. So now, just like we have it here in this center piece, I'm going to try to arrange this side piece like that as well, and go ahead and cut it out. Okay, so once you're done cutting it out, if you turn it to the back, you notice that it's square on the other side. So there is no special way to this. I just went ahead to make it a curve instead of a square that it was before. You can also decide to kind of like make it a circle here to meet this part instead of the way mine is looking. It totally depends on what you want it to look like, but make sure that the middle part is cut the way I did it here, and then you just cut the sides, making sure that they have this curve on the side. So once you're done cutting it and yours look like this, go ahead and pin it with the actual fabric. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm pinning my wadding to the actual fabric, so that when I'm stitching on the sewing machine, it will not give me issues. Another way you can go about this is to use hemming gum if you have. So you're going to just place your hemming gum on your actual fabric, the area where the wadding is going to be. You place the wadding like this and go over and iron it in place. So this will secure it in place, but if you have pins, it actually still does the same thing. You just go ahead and pin it down, which is what I'm actually doing right now. So I'll just pin it in place so that it doesn't move when I'm stitching it down. Okay, so now what I'm going to go ahead and do is put these pieces together right sides facing each other, just like you see me doing like this. I will always advise that you start pinning, or even when you're sewing, start from the end towards the top. So just like you see me like this, I'm just going to start pinning from the end. even when I'm sewing, I'll start sewing from the end. So I'll pin it from this end here all the way to the top. I'm just going to secure the whole thing with my pins, just so it's going to be easier for me when I'm stitching on the sewing machine, that nothing is moving away. So pin the wording and the actual fabrics together when it gets to the cup area. Just take your time on this, pin it down properly. Once I'm done pinning it down, I'm going to head over and stitch this area down here, and you see how it's looking right now. So I'll go ahead and pin down the other side as well before I go ahead and stitch it down.
Don't make me read your mind. I know it. Learn to trust, learn to trust. It's never enough, never enough. Burning me up, burning me up. I won't fall when I'm picking you up. Of my hand, I will be strong enough. Our love is stronger, and I'll be here. My lead, now we're taking the jump.
So now I'm going to go over to the sewing machine and make a stitch here and this other side as well. So guys, this is what it looks like after I was done making the stitches on both sides. So if we turn it over, you see what it looks like. So now I'm going to go ahead and make notches around the curved area of the cup, just like you see me doing like this. Go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to make notches on the both parts, and then I'll go ahead and remove the pins. So guys, once you're done removing the pins, you can see how the bustier area is actually looking right now, even before we go ahead to iron it out. So right now I'm going to go over and iron my seams open. Go ahead and do the same thing, iron your seams open, and I will come back to show you guys what it looks like. So guys, this is what it looks like after I was done stitching it down. And you can see this bustier area sitting really nicely here because of the way we cut out the curve, and you can see how the inside is looking as well. So by the time you attach your lining to this, you're going to see how nicely it's going to really come out. So thank you so much for watching this. This is a very straight to the point video. I hope you find it helpful. I'll be seeing you guys in my next one. If you're yet to subscribe, please hit on the subscribe button and turn on notification.